Greetings, salutations. Hello, it's your girl, Pammie. Peace. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Locs Talk Live. I'm going to do this one a little bit different for y'all today. So I'm going to wait a minute and get myself set up on my TV so I can see what I'm doing. Because I got to see what I'm doing. Right? We got to see what we're doing. First, let's see what's going on. And anyway, I hope y'all are doing okay tonight. This is the first nice day. Well, they didn't lie to us. You know how they do. You know how they be doing to us. Don't want to tell us the truth. The truth. The truth. And the light shall set you free. It's hard for me to see this on here. So what I'm going to do is this. Sound onto one of my other things on TV. So because I need to be able to see on there as well as on here what's going on. So give me a minute. Would have been ready, but I'm gonna leave that one alone. Okay. All right. Let me turn my camera a little bit so I'm a little more centered. There we go. There we go. So tonight I'm going to answer a lot of questions, but I'm going to do more than just verbally answer those questions. I was playing with the presentation portion of this particular software, Streamyard. So yes, I am live via Streamyard software. You see the thing up there, see up there, live with Streamyard, and right here, live with Streamyard. This is what we're doing. I'm not recording. This is all live, and then of course it'll get saved. Man, that's loud because my windows are closed with the AC on. Y'all heard that the motor outside? That was loud. So anyway, I'm going to do video presentation to respond to a lot of these questions. Some of them I will be responding verbally, but others I am going to use visual effects to answer your questions. Please put down in the comments what your thoughts are with using visual effects to answer your questions versus video effects to answer your questions. But my name is Pammie. This is Locs Talk Live. I'm streaming live with Streamyard software. I believe this is now the 8th month, either the 7th or the 8th month that I have been doing a weekly episode of Locs Talk Live. And live, because I've been doing Locs Talk almost 2 years now. By the end of this year, it'll be 2 years that I have been doing it. So I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of myself. Because if you knew what I know about me and my anxiety and my, being able to perform in front of you, is not easy. But I said I'm going to put on my brave girl pants and shove on in. So that's what we're doing today. So let's get in here. Again, welcome to Locs Talk Live. It's your girl, Pammie. If you like the content that I have been providing for you thus far, please hit that thumbs up. It helps push my content along. And if my content gets pushed along, more people are educated, right? And that's important. That's very important to me. This is why I do what I do. Who am I? I am a loctician and an organic natural hair care provider, as well as a lockologist. Briefly explaining what those three things are. Loctician, I start, maintain, and support. The number one thing, I support my clients through their natural lock journeys. Okay? Organic loose natural hair care provider, I provide hair care for your loose natural hair in its natural state with your natural texture without the use of any chemical products to alter your hair by use of chemicals or high heat. I do color hair, but only using organic dyes and coloring processing to change your hair color. So if you have really dark hair, you come to me and say, I want lime green hair, because I know what it takes to get you lime green hair, chances are you won't be getting lime green hair from these hands. Speaking of lime green, I got my request for my birthstone peridot ring. I love it. It's pretty. You see it sparkling. Anyway, and the final title, Lockologist, simply put, is I put the effort into studying locks, from its origins to its ever evolving evolution of today's locks and dreadlocks, whichever you prefer. All of the above for me. Okay. I can be reached. This is my website. www.PammieLocsWithLove74.com. I know it's a long ass name, but if you just hit that link tree up there in my banner on my YouTube homepage, or in the descriptions below, which I will be adding later when I do my editing for the timeline, and you'll see the answer to each of your questions by just clicking on the number. I'll be doing that. You can click there. But on my website, you will see a number of things. Of course, you will have to sign up to become a member in order to see everything. My services from what I do, my gallery of what I do, my blog, which is how Locs Talk started. Locs Talk started first in my website, where I got up on the keyboard. I did a lot of research and tried to create education in layman's terms outside of what I learned in beauty school, because there are certain things I just by law can't teach you. You have to go to beauty school to get it. You got to pay your money. You got to get them coins together for that. But for the most part, I can teach you general stuff to be aware of for yourself. So I started Locs Talk on my blog. That's only available visually to my members of the site. However, since I started doing it live and in person or here on YouTube, now I just take what I do here and I edit it and bring it over there, so that whoever's on my website, if they missed it here, they can always get it there, because they get notifications for updates on the blog. Also, you can make appointments, including consultations. You don't even have to sit in my chair to do a consultation. If you have specific questions for your specific needs that you do not want to share publicly in the comments of my live sessions and things like that, you just need to pick my brain and ask me a load of questions about your situation and your hair and stuff, because sometimes people have situations and conditions that's going on with their hair and their scalp that may be too embarrassing for them to ask publicly. You have the opportunity to book a consultation one-on-one, just you and me, to talk about those things, and I will provide you with information, products, recipes for things that you might be able to use to fix the issue, things like that. I can do one-to-one tutorials on things you might want to learn how to do with your own hair or with your child's hair. I will, do demos with Barbara Ann. Barbara Ann is my mannequin head. You'll see her in this particular live tonight. And you will also see just about everything in there. Just about everything. Gallery. What else? Testimonials of some of my clients, some of my most loyal clients that's been with me since day one, like for years, within their journey. What else is in there? It's a lot of stuff in there, and it's just colorful and playful. And I hope that you will be able to navigate it easily and just enjoy it. Okay, so www.PammieLocsWithLove74.com. Yeah, it's always gonna be that one. People have already suggested maybe you want to do it. No, that's what it is. You'll always have a barcode or a link. You don't even have to type it in, so it's okay. That's who I is. That's who I am. Okay, so once again, a reminder, Locs Talk Live is streamed using Streamyard software. I have been studying it and testing it out and using it throughout the year. And I'm sold on it. So I will be upgrading in a couple of months, probably not at the end of the year, probably prior to that, where I'm going to be able to um, go live from multiple platforms simultaneously. I'll be able to also put things that is related to my brand inside so that you'll see that on the screen. But I will still keep this little duck up here, you know, so people know that I am using StreamYard to do all of my stuff. I'm not huge on putting a lot of sound effects in my lives unless it's music, and because of copyright purposes, you're probably gonna hear a lot of that. But I will be sharing music at some point because there are some musicians in my life who are very close to me who gives me the permission to use their music when I ask. So yes. So what's today's topic? Questions and answers with Pammie. Now, some questions were asked prior to this Locs Talk Live. Now, give me a second. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anything because I'm going to be upset about that. So we got to make sure. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, no, there are no questions there. I want to be sure. You know, sometimes you got to be okay. You got to be sure. You got to be sure. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, Q&A. So some of the questions that I did receive, I decided I'm going to do like a show and tell and use visual effects such as pictures and videos to answer your question. Now, I'm going to be all tiny over here in this little spot over here, like right there on the little side over there. And then the whole rest of the screen will be the presentation. The presentation. I'll feel like we're going to feel like we're in a board meeting sort of thing. But I'm gonna have fun with this. I decided to do this because, like I said, during the summer months, I know it's difficult for a lot of people to remember to pop in here at 7 o'clock because the sun, as you see, is still really high and bright in the sky outside. But as Locs Talk winds down and gets through the time that I'm speaking to you, the sun starts to go down, which is why you see my halo light reflected in my glasses in front of me, and I do have my light, my natural light behind me. If you notice that my surroundings are different, yes, they are. My furniture has changed. This is my new stuff. I like it. It brightens up the room. It makes everything so bright. But yeah, so let's move into our presentation. Presenting. Okay. All right. So the first question is, what are some different types of tools you can use to interlock? Excellent question. Now, interlocking, first of all, let me answer the question, what is interlocking? Interlocking is a method of maintenance to your locks other than the palm roll or twist, coil twist to the roots to hold them in place, okay? Interlocking is passing the hair underneath the lock a number of times until it gets closer to your roots or scalp. All right, there will be a demonstration of what that is. Sometimes explaining it verbally is still confusing, and that's why I said, let me give a visual to make sure that they understand what I'm trying to tell them. Okay, so let me scroll on down, and I'm going to shrink right over there on the side, and this whole area here is going to be presentation. Okay, so the question is, what are some different types of tools you can use to interlock? And hi, y'all see me over here? Hello. So we're going to look over there, okay? So if you look up here, these are different types of interlocking threading needles, okay? They start from this large one for extra large size locks. And now you may wonder, well, those holes are really small, but it's typically just the end of the lock that goes into those little threading needles. It doesn't have to go all the way up the shaft of your lock. And then there's 3 different size um, latch hook loops. That's what they are called, latch hook loops. A lot of people call them crochet hooks, but they actually are called latch hook loops. That's the proper term for those, okay? These are also used to do crochet braids. That's why a lot of people call them crochet hooks. But they are, if you ever had done latch hook um, pictures where you use little pieces of yarn and pull it through a grid to create a picture, that's what those originate from arts and crafting. But now we had transitioned them, so we use them to do things with our hair. You have to be very careful with using these because the portion where the hook is, that end, but especially for the smaller one, for this purple one and this pink, is really sharp. So if your finger gets stuck in there, ouch. For lack of better words, that shit hurts. It hurts. So be careful when you are closing a little latch over the front of it. Okay. Now the next question is, how do you use the interlocking tool? Now, as I verbally explained it to you again, you're going to thread your lock through it and then use it to pass it underneath. Now, if you are a do-it-yourselfer, I'm going to go back to this. You see these here, the ones that are kind of curved, like crescent shaped like this? Those are the ones I recommend using because when you're passing it through, it's actually coming right back out so you can pull it and it doesn't get caught on the next lock when you are doing it yourself, because your visual is going to be minimized significantly because of that, okay? So we're going to remove that again, and I'm going to scroll down here to my demonstration video showing you how to use the interlocking needle, threading needle. So here you will see me using the needle. I'm threading my lock through, as you see, just to end. Now, first, I'm going to use the 4-point method. I'm starting from the back towards the front first. So I'm passing it, and you want to use your thumb, making sure that it's a guide on the other side. So when you push it through, if the needle touches the middle of your thumb, you know you're in the center. Then you're going to pass it from the bottom towards the top. And you're going to pull it all the way through gently, as such. The next one is point 3 from front to back. I know I'm moving slow as hell, but I want to make sure you see exactly what I'm doing. Pull it through gently, right? And now you heard me say 4-point method, right? North, south, east, west. So we've already done 3. And the last one, we're going to start at the top and push it down towards the floor, and that will be the final one. You don't want to do interlocking too tightly. The reason for it is if you pull it too tightly, now we are moving over into the threshold of too much tension and pulling, which can lead to traction alopecia. So that is how you use the interlocking threading tool. Okay, and there you go. All right, so that started over. We're going to pause there. I look crazy in that video because somebody just commented. Give me a second. Hey, Lele, how you do, girl? How you do? Thank you for coming. So we're doing a show and tell presentation to answer a lot of these questions, okay? So I'm going to take my weird looking face off of there because I look funny. You see, when I say my shyness, well, I'm not shy, but my anxiety has decreased significantly with good practice of doing this. So the next question is, what are the benefits of interlocking versus twist? Primarily, the number one benefit of interlocking over twist is that you can go longer periods of time between your appointments. I have one, now I only have one, two, three, four. Now I'm down to about 7, 8, 10 clients that still are interlocking. I used to have a lot more because they worked in corporate America, and now they like, I don't give a f. I'm gonna, I'm embracing the poof. They can, anyway. But interlocking, that's number one. It lasts longer between your maintenance. So you can do interlocking like every 8 to 10 weeks, as opposed to with the retwist of the palm roll or coil twist every 4 to 6 weeks, right? But if you really don't mind the fizziness, the fluffiness and stuff, you can go longer periods of time. I go months between my retwists now, like, but that's just what my choice is. I don't mind the fuzz and frizz and puff and stuff. I do have a number of clients that comes to me every 3 months or so to get a retwist because they too don't mind the fluffiness as their hair is growing out. Hi Lisa, how are you? You feeling your twist, girl? I knew you would love it. I love your twist. I love your twist. You need your twist? Okay. So we'll make an appointment to do that, okay? So that's something you recommend for me. Is what something I recommend for you, Lele? So I ain't got no coffee tonight. I have my Myrtle. So she looks great with a twist. Yeah, I love the twist on her. They really suit her very nicely. But this time, Lisa, if I'm going to do it, I would like to do it from the root so that it stays in easier. Interlocking, it's not absolutely 100% necessary for you. It's really up to you. What I will tell you, Lele, is that if you do decide to go with interlocking, try not to go back and forth too much, because what people don't understand is this. That's the second thing I want to say that is different from interlocking versus the twisting or coiling, is that interlocking um, makes the lock more compact and narrow than it would when you twist it, because it swells back up when you twist it. It doesn't swell up so much with interlocking. So that's the difference between the two. So it's up to you. You just make sure that whichever way you decide to go for the long haul. Because I started out my locks interlocking, and if you look at the ends of my locks, some of them are like really skinny at the ends versus how thick they are towards the root. Because when I switched over to twisting, you can see the difference. They start getting a little bit wider as they go up. Okay. So moving on. Now this question came up. A lot of the questions that I received were about locks, just so you know. So this is just me answering the questions as they come in. How do I do a 2-strand twist that is neat and won't look loose at the root? All right, so let's see which one of these. I think this is it. So I'm going back into presentation mode. Before I do that, let me answer this question. Yeah. So if you love your juicy locks, then stick with the coil and palm roll for your retwist, Lele, because you're not going to get that same effect by interlocking. They're going to lay down flatter and be neater with interlocking. Interlocking is more corporate America friendly for locks than palm rolling. That's really the biggest difference, and the length of time between your maintenance. Now that also goes according to how fast your hair grow. If you don't have fast growing hair, you can go even longer period between the interlocking appointments, right? So that's the thing. Embrace the frizz. Yeah. Everybody does not have the head capacity to do that. But for those who do, God bless you. I love it. So one way or the other. Because me personally, I didn't fall in love with locks for the aesthetics. It's more for the journey and the spirituality of it all. So going back to the question, how do I do a 2-strand twist that is neat and won't look loose at the root? Now, make no mistake about it. I'm demonstrating this on locks, but this is for loose natural hair too if you're twisting your hair. So pay attention. Pay attention. No. So let's go back into presentation mode. Okay. We got to move that back. So I got my 2 locks and I'm demonstrating on my frizzy locks here. First, let me retwist the end, the roots. You'll notice that both of the locks that I'm twisting is going in the same direction. So that's the number 1 rule when it comes to locks. All right. Your hair has to be twisted in the same direction. Now, when you're doing the twist of them linked together, you're going to twist in the opposite direction, as you will see momentarily. Okay, so now they're twisted. Now we're going to twist the locks in the opposite direction. Stop, hold them, and we're going to twist our wrist to continue turning the locks in the original direction that we twisted them. So when you're doing a 2-strand, you're literally twisting, like crisscrossing them in the opposite direction from the direction that you twisted the lock itself. And the same goes for when you are twisting your normal hair. Just break it into 2 pieces. And if you're going like this, you're twisting it this way while you're going that way with the twist. And as you see how uniform my twist looks as it's going down further and further. I'm trying not to cross my eyes because I don't want to look straight at my lock, because if I do, that's when. So I look like I'm ready to fall asleep, right? I don't think I'm going to go all the way to the bottom because it's so much length there. But we'll see if I do go to the bottom because I don't remember. But each way, as you see, I'm continuing to twist. And if you see, even though it looked like I'm going the opposite direction, I'm still going the same way when I turn my wrist up, right? So that's how it looks uniform. Now I'm going to show you how a lot of people do it when they just simply twist it without the wrist turning and things, and you'll see how loose it looks. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing it this way, but you're not going to get that same tight, uniformed look that you see in the original one. And you see on the original one, I let it go, and it's not unraveling. So you see the difference. That was more tight and compact, right, from twisting my wrist, and that one is not. So that's the difference. Now, with the looser one, they are also easier to take out, right? Right. See how this one, no twisting. It's just crisscross, just crisscross, just crisscross. But if you want those aesthetically neat twists in your hair, make sure when you do your retwist, all of your locks should be twisted uniformly in one direction, and all of your twists should be twisted in the opposite direction while still twisting it in that direction. Now I'm showing you at the bottom how to close it up at the end if you were going to do a lock bob. I'm looking for a rubber band because I always have something on the table there. Yep, there we go. Now, of course, when I do my lock bobs, they're much shorter than that, but that's generally, you wrap the end so that is a little bow on the bottom. You can use a small rubber band to hold it in place, and that's how the end of a lock bob is created. So that's how you do a two-strand twist where it looks uniform from root to tip. Okay, so we're going to remove that. So moving forward, now the next question was to do a demo of a lock knot. The same thing. I don't even know if I put the video up for it. Well, I already did the demonstration for that. The next question was, how often should I wash my hair? For years and years and years and years and years, I had a uniform answer. Wash your hair every 2 weeks. That's no longer my answer. Again, I continuously do research, both on myself. I watch how things are with my clients, and I just research a lot of things. And so here's primarily what my answer is. And again, it's not etched in stone because it's your journey, it's your hair. You decide how you're going to do it. And it also soulfully depends on how heavy-handed you are when you're using products, because oftentimes people use a lot of products, way more than they need to use. So generally spoken, how often should you wash your hair? First and foremost, it depends on how heavy-handed you are with using products. Like I said, if you use products heavy-handed, heavy, once a week, I don't care when it is. And that means to disregard the second portion of this question that I'm going to say. How often should you wash your hair? It depends on the season. Summertime, I wash my hair once a week or maximum 10 days, every 10 days, right? In the autumn, every 2 to 3 weeks. Most of the time, 3 weeks. Winter, once a month. Spring, every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks in the springtime, because generally I don't have to wash it that often, because people will say, well, what about the pollen and stuff? In the winter time, the springtime, I generally, when I go outside, because of all the pollen and I don't want it getting intertwined and stuck in my hair, I cover my hair when I go outside during the spring. I wear head wraps anytime I go outside during the springtime while all that pollen and stuff is in the air. I don't want that crap in my hair, because I will kill this family with all of that pollen in my hair. So we have a comment over here. Hi, Donna Lee. How are you? Me when I remember. I'm so glad to see you, darling. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, ladies, please, and gentlemen. I don't know if there's any gentlemen in here, because there's more people in here than speaking in the chat. But please hit that thumbs up to help push the contents along. So the answer to that question is, if you are heavy-handed with using products, wash your hair once a week. Okay? Also, summertime is very important. If you go swimming in the ocean or in the swimming pool, how often should you wash your hair? Immediately after you have gone swimming for the day. Do not leave chlorine in your hair. Do not leave salt water in your hair. It can damage your hair. So to answer that, during the summer times or any time of the year that you've gone swimming, say for instance you went on vacation, no matter what the season is. If you went on vacation and you swam in a pool or the ocean, wash your hair immediately. Get the salt water and the chlorine out of your hair. Okay? So the next question was about, what is loc brushing and what are the benefits? Please demonstrate how to use it. Okay, loc brushing was introduced to me a little over 3 years ago by a friend of mine. Her name is Tara. She has a product line. You hear me talking about different products that I've used before. So, and this was a product line that I used back then. It was called Peculiar Roots. And I learned about lock brushing then. I have since moved on to a different company, but she and I are still very dear friends to this day. Um, and yeah, so um, anyway, lock brushing, the benefits of lock brushing is it helps to spread the product throughout your hair after you've done a moisturizer routine with oil or in your chosen moisturizer. It also helps tame the frizz of your locks, so they're not as frizzy and crazy looking as a lot crazy looking. I'm gonna do this because this is not my words; it's the words of others when they're speaking to me about the frizz that they can't handle so greatly, and I understand it. Like I said, it's not for everyone. Um, it also helps to reduce lint, because lint transfers to your locks a lot, whether it's from your bedding or your clothing or just from sitting in the car and, fabric from the car seat and all different things. So when you are brushing your locks, it's also removing those fibers off the surface of your lock before it burrows down. Because once that fabric burrows down into your lock, it's gone, right? So up until 3 years ago, I did not know about lock brushing until my friend Tara had introduced it to me. So I'm always forever grateful to her for introducing lock brushing. Also, it has to be it's very, very, very important to know that the lock brush, and I'm not even going to say lock brush, the brush that you choose to use when you are lock brushing has to be soft, bristle boar's hair brushes. Do not use hard, brittle, bristle brushes. It will cause your locks to become frail and it'll break the hair. That's not the goal here. Use a soft bristle brush. Okay, we have some comments in the comment section. Hello, distractible me. Lock brushing stimulates my scalp too. Yes, it is very good for stimulating the scalp as well. I don't recommend doing it too often because the bristles can scratch the surface of your scalp. And because the delicateness of your scalp, scratching can lead to other scalp issues because of bacteria, microscopic bacteria that lives on the surface of things that we don't know anything about. So you want to not do that too often with using a brush to brush your scalp. Massaging with the surface, the palm tips of your fingers and things like that is much more um, better for that purpose. Yes, helps to distribute the oil too. And as mentioned, gently with the soft boar's hair brush. Y'all have scabs like me. Some people do. Especially when, because what people don't understand is that one of the causes of traction alopecia is brushing, scraping on the scalp. So even if it's a soft brush, you don't want to, scratch. Yeah, our scalp is so delicate. It's like a peach. The slightest thing will bruise it. Okay, so that is the benefits of lock brushing. So to get to the demonstration, as I said, we're doing show and tell tonight. So I have a series of little miniature videos of, and the reason why a lot of them are me doing it is because these are people who are learning do it yourself stuff that they want to be able to do for their own hair. Okay, so now we're talking about brushing. I start by gently brushing my forefront hairline, which is where I had prior to that put aloe vera gel, spritzed it with my refresher spray, and then I put the oil on my scalp. Right? So I'm using the brush to help make sure that all of the product that I had just put in my hair prior to that, but this is during one of my videos that I was demonstrating a daily moisture routine. And so now I'm using my brush. And that was my original brush that I got from Peculiar Roots 3 years ago. But I have several others now. I put the brush down so we can split the hair up. But if you notice that other than when I brush my front hairline, I start about an inch away from the root of my hair. to brush down. I don't want the brush to poke or scratch my scalp. I try to stay away from that, you know. But I continue to brush. You'll see my light in the video decided to quit on me. I'm like, why you going? Why are we doing that though? Why are we doing that? So as you see, I'm using the brush to just gently go, and I make sure I go all the way down the full length. And you see my fingers, I was using it to rake downward. When you are separating your locks, make sure you rake downward. Doing so will help tremendously with keeping your locks from marrying together. The last thing I want to do is have to try to pull apart your locks. That hurts my soul. And I don't even want to use scissors to do it. But if you make it a habit that when you're doing your routine to in a downward motion, just comb your fingers through your locks. It really, really helps keep them from marrying together, and we don't have to go through breaking and cutting here just to separate your locks again. Because these locks love getting married. You know, I've been going through a lot of lock divorces, you know. Down to the end of nails, yeah. Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, no situationships allowed, exactly. Yes, to the technical advancements. Girl, you know I'll be over here playing with this Streamyard. I said I'm gonna make sure I understand how to do all of this before I commit. You know? You know? I'm getting up there, girl. I'm practicing. So the next one, please demonstrate how to retwist my locks for frontal retwist to keep up my edges between appointments. Now, this one was a great question that was asked of me. I do happen to have a couple of demonstration videos where I was showing like a close up of retwisting the frontal, what I call the frontal T-zone retwist. It's just the edges and the two middle right here to make it look like I have a full brand new retwist, and it's just that little bit of hair. But I'm showing in this video, because I do have a demonstration video for this one too. I'm showing in this video a number of things, and I'll explain it to you as I play it. So I'm just going to put it up here after I see what this comment says. Proud of you. Thank you, Donna Lee. Because you know, old lady here, I'm not tech savvy, so it takes studying, but I get it done. Gets it done. Okay, so let's add it in. All right, so now I'm showing you how I'm working on one of the locks, right? That's aloe vera gel that I'm just putting on my scalp because that area, the front hairline area, is the most susceptible to my seborrheic dermatitis flare-ups. So I try to make sure I keep aloe vera gel on my scalp and edges in the front. Now I'm putting a little bit of Loc Pammie on the hair, and you'll see that I have a good amount of new growth there. Like I said, I go a long periods of time between my retwists now. It's a risk, but my skill allows me to keep up my hair in a way so that I'm not at the risk. And that little pieces that look like it's broken away is not, that's actually edge hair that grew back in that I had not crocheted back in my lock as of yet. So now I'm twisting it in the direction that all of my locks are twisted in. And I'm finger rolling the same way you would do with your palms, but I'm just using my fingers. And then I anchor it back using the clamp. And then you're going to see me get a little bit closer. Get a little closer, Pam. Show them how it is. You see that there? Now, one of the things I'm demonstrating and saying in this part is showing you to reach back when you're doing your twist, because that's the direction your hair is going to be worn in, right? Oftentimes, people make the mistake of holding their hair forward and then twisting it, right? And then they'll pull it back. And what happens is that causes tension and pulling, which can lead to traction alopecia. And then you're going to be bald headed and be going to be calling me Pammie. I don't know what happened. Why my hair? That's what happened. So get used to. Come on, get a little stretching in there. Work it out. Work it out. Okay. So that's generally you want to do. Make sure you twist it in the direction that you're going to be wearing it. Generally, I wear either down or back, so I never twist going forward. Make sure you don't make that same mistake. A lot of people make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. So make sure you twist your hair in the direction you're going to wear it, specifically here. So if it's hanging straight down, it's still not pulling in tension. But if you twist it forward and then flip it back, it's pulling when you put your hair back in a ponytail. Okay? So don't do that. I don't want you to lose your edges. Okay? We all know what that shit feels like. It don't feel good. It's not cute. All right? We've all been there. Donna Lee, if you do it, I'm your girl and I got you. Seriously. Okay? Seriously. If you decide that you want to begin again, I'm here for it. And I got you every step of the damn way. Trust and believe me on that. Okay? So what's the next question? Get out of here. I got this little fly that's annoying the hell out of me right now. Okay, this is a good one. What are crochet needle hooks and what are they used for? You know those death hooks, the ones that get stuck underneath your skin and pull and hurt you if you don't know what the hell you're doing. Crochet needle hooks. I'm going to put a picture up here. Let me put it up here now. First, let me answer this question in the comment. Donnelly, I don't want to start from the beginning again. I understand, but if your mind leads you there and you decide that you do want to, I'm here for you. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to entice you. But if you decide it, know that I'm here for you and I got you. Okay? So, first and foremost, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in regards to what is a crochet needle hook. This is a crochet needle hook. Yes, that's the proper term for it. Crochet needle hook. It's not just a crochet hook, it's a crochet needle hook. And the reason why it's a needle hook is because the tip of it is so thin that it can just impale your fingers and it hurts. Oftentimes when you're using it, it gets caught underneath the cuticle. And when you're pulling it out, because it's so painful, a lot of people yanks it out and they wind up pulling a chunk of meat from under there with it. And yeah, sorry for the graphics of that. I should have did a trigger warning first, but it hurts. So when you are learning how to use it, you need to move slowly and pay attention to what you're doing. Because the last thing I want is for you to stab yourself in the hand because it does hurt. All right. So what do you use it for? You can start instant locks with them. And the demonstration I'm going to show you a demonstration of starting an instant lock and how it looks and how it works, right? But they can also be used to repair locks. What else are they used for? Those are the two general things: instant locks, lock repair, or to install lock extensions also. Because what it does, the teeny tiny hook on the end pulls those little thin, teeny tiny strands of hair, and it entangles and intertwines and locks them together, and that's what it is. But you have to do it a lot. And the thing is that sometimes when you're first doing it, you might think it's not doing anything until all of a sudden everything starts to become very compact. So we got some questions here before we move on. Donna Lee, I know, just the party, base being too small, all because of, yeah, understood. Okay, so let's get to the demo. Are you ready? I was ready. So now we're gonna get out of here, little fly. go to the Atom. So I'm going to use the double head crochet needle hook. And this is my mannequin, Barbara Ann. Barbara Ann, everybody, Barbara Ann. I've already took the end of her hair and I teased it or back combed it to make it like that. Her hair is actually about a foot long. So as you see, you will lose quite a few inches of hair if you decide to get instant locks because if you have a straighter texture of hair. Okay? So it depends on what your hair texture is. So as you see, I'm moving it back and forth. It looks like I'm just moving it back and forth, but I'm using my index finger and my thumb, particularly my thumb. I'm guiding and grinding those hooks against my thumb as I go in and out. The reason why I'm doing that is because it helps me to know that I'm catching and pulling those hairs inside of the lock. And as you see, I'm slightly rotating the lock as I continue to go. Now, I'm not going to keep turning it because, of course, it starts to feel tighter and tighter. So I let it go and spin it back the other way and continue to do the same thing. But it's just generally when you're pushing it through, it has to come all the way out and through the other side in order to pull those loose hairs from the other side into the lock. And then you go in and come back out again. So, and it's a slightly round, not quite this big, but you're slightly rotating. So you're not doing this. It's slightly like this, like a small circle as you go. And as you see, this is a large lock because it is a large piece of section of hair that I had separated. To do that, now this is a quick demonstration. And yeah, that's me. I just wanted to look in the mirror and in the camera to make sure y'all know that is actually me working on it. But if you know my hands now, I have my 2 signature scars right here. So can't nobody imitate those. That's from my mail carrier days, knocking my knuckles on mailboxes. And from when I was a kid, these little fresh little boys didn't know how to keep their hands to themselves. So wham, yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep your hands to yourself. Boys catch the girls nothing. Keep your hands to yourself. So anyway, as you see, I'm minor rotating. And right now, yeah, it's looking a little crooked and stuff, but as I continue to work up and down and the lock, it will start to take shape and form. Now, personally, like I said, my work ethic does not surround doing instant locks. That is not what I represent. I am a supporter for those that are in my clientele that is going through their journeys naturally. Now, again, a lock journey is not for the faint of heart. You have to be serious and committed up to going through a lock journey. It's not easy because part of the process is unsubscribing to what is considered the beauty standard. And sometimes that's very difficult for people to unlearn because they have known that their entire lives. And it's hard to let go of that. So just keep that in mind. Now, as you see how the lock here has become more compacted, and I'm just reinforcing it just a little bit more, as you see, I go down, right? And I never do it completely to the root because I don't want to make the mistake of poking the person in the scalp. So that's generally instant lock and what the crochet hook needle hook does to create. So as I was saying, my work ethic does not surround shortcuts and instant locks. If I take you step by step through your journey, this is why it's important for you to learn everything that as much as possible prior to starting your journey, so you know what you're walking and embarking on. Because a lot of times people get so excited about what's at the finish line or the end game that they don't pay attention to all the stuff that's happening in the middle. Without, what did Frederick Douglass say? Without struggle, there is no progress. Keep that in mind. Without struggle, there is no progress. And that holds so much weight because people need to understand that there will be times where it's going to feel like a struggle because you want to let go, but then you can't let go and you don't understand how to do it. It can take a psychological, yeah, it can have a hold on you. So, yeah, that's what my work ethic of what I represent as a loctician is. And again, I don't speak against people who decide that they want instant locks, if that's what you choose. Because a lot of people, they want locks because they love the aesthetics of what locks look like. And they don't specifically want to go through a journey with spiritual growth and things like that. And that's okay. It is absolutely fine. I'm sorry if like my picture looks fuzzy to you. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi today has been active funny. So I just want to let you know that. I hope you can just hear me just fine though. So let's go over here to the comments. Yes, Barbara Ann is getting locks now. So Donna Lee said Barbara Ann getting locks now. Yes, she is. Yeah, I understand. Instant gratification locks. Instant gratification locks. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. So the next question is, what is a twisting sponge? Now, sponging is not even something that has gone away. It's still something people do quite often because some people, they like the aesthetic of just having that little coil effect going on with their hair. So oftentimes it's achieved with the sponge. Now I'll show you what the sponge looks like. It's just, it has two sides. I'll show you both of them because I have different ones. Okay. So this is the sponge that I have. This is one side of it. One side of it has spikes and holes, right? And that's the pick that goes with it because the mistake that a lot of people make when they are sponging is when they begin. Now, you don't have to do this every time you sponge your hair, but when you first decide to sponge your hair, you need to pick your hair out. Otherwise, you're going to wind up with a lot of tangled mess up there. You don't want that because if you're not trying to do it permanently and it's there, it's going to be a nightmare trying to get all of those tangles out. So do make sure that you use the pick to pick your hair out and then go into sponging. You can use this side. This side works better for hair with a little more length, right? Now I will proceed. Nope. These are also, right? This is what is a twisting or coiling comb. So this is the sponge here. The sponge comes also as a glove. You can just put it on your hand and just generally, do the same effect using the glove. But this is the flat side of the same sponge that I just showed you, where this is more for the shorter hair. Again, you want to pick it out and then apply a moisturizer. Preferably, I like to use aloe gel or just like a light spray mist and do it and let it coil. And then I can set it with some mousse or something and just let it bake. Now, this, just so you know, let me go to the question. What is a twisting coil comb? This thing right here that looked like a tennis racket, this is a twisting coil comb. Now, this works exactly the same as this and this. However, this makes your twist more aesthetically, what's the word? Come on, somebody help me with it. Even squares. What is it? Graphical? Oh, loss of words, but you know what I mean. Uniformed. what's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue, but it won't come out. You know what I mean? But it makes everything, as you see, there's a grid on here. So pretty much as it's doing its job, as you rotate it, because you're going to rotate it the same way you would do with the sponge, it's going to create somebody just help me. Aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Thank you, Donnelly. Because girl, my sometimes my brain menopause. Just me and her. Anyway, it makes it more aesthetically pleasing to the eye because when you have a person that, and there's the same thing with people that get locks in their hair. This is what you would use to start locks. If you wanted to use this to start your locks, if you want them to be exactly the same size, this is what's going to do it. Right? Okay, so that's what a twisting or coiling comb. Oftentimes people think it's a little small angular comb. You can use that to do coil twists, but it's not a coil. It's not called a coiling comb. It's actually a barber's comb, and they just use it to do twists because of the narrow end. It makes it easier to do the comb coils. So that, but you can pretty much use any comb to do a comb coil. Any small fine tooth comb you can use to do small comb coils. Okay. Um. So we're gonna close that up. We'll move on to the next question. Okay, so now this is the first question that I got from somebody asking me about how to properly apply either a liquid spray moisturizer or a creamy leave-in conditioning moisturizer. Oftentimes, people make the mistake of just putting a bunch of it on their hand and starting from the roots and working to the end. When in actuality, you should be working from your ends towards your root. The ends need the moisture more than your roots because you have to protect the ends of your hair. Oftentimes people don't do that and then they say to me, Pammie, my hair isn't growing. Your hair is growing. However, the ends are so damn dry and brittle that they are breaking off as fast as your hair is growing out, so it appears that your hair is not growing. The moisture definitely has to go to the ends and make your way towards the root of your hair to make sure that everything is covered and that you have that moisture and the ends of your hair last longer before you have to trim it. Okay? So let's do the demonstration. Because yes, I do have a demonstration. I did the demo on Barbara Ann. So you'll see in her hair, there's a lot of things that I have been doing to her hair. You see the braids down there at the bottom because I like to practice grids and parting. That's my husband John back there. Say hey. No. So generally sectioned off the hair. And when you do apply moisturizer, please do it one section at a time. Do not have all your hair out and just put it here and you say, oh, I'm moisturizing. No, you just put it here. Section out your hair in different sections to do the moisture, to make sure that you get full coverage on your hair. So first things first is I'm combing her hair, which I can do because I had already detangled it long before that. Sorry, little rubber band stuff. And so I'm just straightening out her hair. Of course, I'm having a conversation with that man over there in the corner, too. Generally, something I do not do when I have clients. I don't like having conversations with people other than them. I don't take calls. None of that. Y'all know that, right? Because the time is your time. My phone is on mute. You don't even hear notifications on my phone. So the first thing that I do is I moisturize. First, don't be this close. Back up. Let the mist fall on the hair. See how that mist is coming out there? And this is if you have a liquefied moisturizer, okay? Her hair porosity is not that high, so it didn't take much for me to do it. Don't worry, I'm going to lift her hair up and get the bottom too. But you don't want the hair dripping wet, just enough to be able to, as you see, bring your fingers through it without your fingers getting stuck. Now I lift her hair up and I do the same thing. Keep a little distance 6 to 8 inches away from the head. Do not be right on top of your hair when you're spraying it because you don't get the full coverage. Okay? And gently rake your fingers through the hair to make sure. Okay? Now I'm going to be using my Mael pomade, honey pomade leave-in hair conditioner here. All right? Put it on my hand. About 3 or 4 pumps. Spread it on my hands all the way to the tips of my fingers. And using my fingers, I'm going to start at the very end, gently raking my fingers from the tips and working my way inward to the roots. Because your roots are being nourished, number one, because your scalp is already producing oil and natural essence of oil and things like that. And if you oil your hair on a regular basis, it's being nourished as your hair is growing out from your roots, and it's more protected because you have other hair laying over it. The ends are very exposed and kind of out there just getting the business. So you want to start with the weakest part of the hair, which is always the ends of the hair. Now after putting it in there, you see, even with a fine tooth comb, I'm able to just comb straight through her hair, right? So generally, that's what you do. I'm using the comb to help spread, and generally, most of the time I would use a brush, but I only had the comb on the table at that time. I have a detangling brush that I use a lot of the times. And once it's in there, make sure it's in there good and everything. Each section as you go, when you're done, I like to just, first I'm showing you how it's moisturized from root to tip. Right? See? And then you're just going to twist it and put it out the way, section it, and go to the next section and repeat until you have your full head moisturized, right? And then style as you normally would. But you want to make sure you break your hair into sections as you are moisturizing your hair. Don't just comb it all down and just put it straight on the top and say you moisturize your hair. Don't do that. And don't be too heavy-handed because then it will cause buildup on your hair. You don't want that. Okay? Going back to the comments. I'm the only one who hit the thumbs up button. We'll see. Just hit the thumbs up. If you're in here, hit that thumbs up. No worries about it. No worries. So the next question is, what is loc smitting and what is its purpose? Loc smitting is the use of friction back and forth. Really, I'll show you in the demo video. I do have a demo video of it, but it's friction of like you pulling towards you and pushing with your thumb, and pulling towards you and pushing with your thumb, pull towards you, push with your thumb. All right. The purpose of it is to wrap the frizz that is sticking out of your locks around your lock. Now, I like to use the analogy of a caterpillar when I talk about how frizz works. Oftentimes, people that can't handle the frizz, the first thing they want to do is get out a pair of scissors and cut it off. And that is a big mistake. Your lock, unfortunately, can pay a big price for that, from being misshapen or start to thin out and start breaking down. The frizz is your friend. There's ways to tame the frizz without cutting it off. The last thing I want you to do is to cut the frizz. Do not cut off the frizz. It is part of the process. Those frizzies is the chrysalis or the cocoon that wraps around your lock that makes your lock look so aesthetically uniform, right? So after a while, once it's wrapped, it becomes compact and it's just like tightly packed and can't be pulled off until you decide to pack a whole bunch of conditioner in your hair and comb out your locks, which a lot of people like to do. That's their explanation and they don't owe it to me. So go to the 3 carpets that's up here. Lisa says she hit it. I can't see it, so I won't know until I'm done with this, or I guess I can only see mine. Most of the time, you only see yours. I can't see it while I'm in here because I'm looking at it from the Streamyard platform, but when I go to YouTube, I'll be able to see. I tried to hit it more than once, but it doesn't let me. No, you only can hit it once, Lisa, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so let's go to the demonstration of what locksmithing is to give you a better idea of what it is. Okay, again, nope, not that one. Is it this one? It is. So this is what locksmithing is. You're using the friction. So you see my fingers are pressed against it. I'm pushing with the thumb and pulling with my other four fingers, pushing with the thumb, and you have to move up and down the lock in order for it to. And this is the lock that I just did with the locksmithing. I mean, that I did the instant lock. This is that same lock on Barbara Ann. So that's what locksmithing is. It's just friction. And I don't have product in my hand, so that would have been less fuzzy but I'm just giving a demonstration of what generally you're doing. But you do need to have a little bit of lock gel on your hand to do it. And usually you do because you had just put it on the roots to do the twist. And then you hold the lock in one hand and just back and forth, okay? It's hard to do with nothing in my hand, but that's generally what it is, okay? Question. I think I cut it after my birthday. You think you'll cut it after your birthday? Don't overthink it, Donnelly. It's okay. And the final question here, because I want to make sure I covered everything. What is this? Yeah, we did cover that. Okay, sorry. The final question here is, what is my summer moisturizing routine? Some of you probably had already seen this, but for those who had not seen it, my summertime moisture routine, generally before I go out, a lot of the times, is this is a short 3-minute video, right? So this is the answer to what is the summer moisture routine for your hair. And this is for locks or loose natural hair. Make sure your hair is well moisturized before you go outside, especially if it's really hot and sunny and you're going to be outside for hours. Particularly if you're going to a parade or a beach day or a cookout or something like that. You want to make sure your hair is thoroughly moisturized. Me personally, I like to use aloe vera gel because it's more thick in density and the moisture from it is going to last a little bit longer. So I'll use that. I had already done it, so this is, like I said, a quick 3-minute demo. So I put it on my hands and generally covered the front edges of my hair with it. And I had actually separated my locks and put it on my scalp and everything. So I was just demonstrating to the audience, that it came in that little bottle with the pump. That's by Made for Locks. So it's aloe vera gel that comes in the pump. It's 99.75% pure aloe vera gel with all of the pulp and stuff had been strained out of it. So it's just pure white gel. And then the next thing I do in this situation, let's see what we're going to do. Oh, my refresher spray. So that's comes next after. And usually in the summertime, I would literally go through my whole scalp with the aloe vera gel. And then I'll take the refresher spray and spray it on my hair. Now, again, when you are spraying your hair with refresher spray, you want to have it 6 to 8 inches away from your hair. So you see how the wide spread of the mist will spread over your hair quite evenly when you do that, right? Also, you don't want to spray your hair so much that it becomes soaking wet because now you're putting yourself at the risk of bacteria buildup, lock rot. We don't want that. Also, to save your hair from UV rays, I will say it again. I said it before, I'll say it again. Us melanated folks, we don't need as much protection as everybody else, but we do need protection for both our skin and our hair. If you remember me introducing this in the past. Coola, Coola, is available on Amazon.com. It's quite expensive, but that little 2-ounce bottle will last you. Okay, it will last you. You only need a couple of spritzes. Okay, just a couple of spritzes. You spritz it on your hair again, 6 to 8 inches. It has a nice wide spread of mist as it lands on your hair, and then you can go outside. So you'll see. And oftentimes, I don't have to use a lot of it at all because I like to wear my hair up, and maybe my hair might be sticking up like this. So I try to cover the area of my hair that's the closest or most exposed to the sun. But you see, it's a nice even spray as you spray it on your hair. Right? And it smells amazing. It has like a sage and ocean scent to it. I'm a earthy person, so anything that has like nature in the scent, it's for me. Make sure you put that little clamp back on there before you put it back in the box, because I keep mine in my bag, so I don't want it spilling. So yeah, I put that shit back. So with all that being said, that is my summertime moisturizing routine when I'm going to be going outside. And I happen to have been going outside to hang out with my good friend Kashana for the day. And I was like, I'm not messing my hair up. We went to, if you haven't gone to it before yet, it's a food truck vendors thing called Smorgasbord, all throughout New York City. On Thursdays, it's like near Radio City area by Avenue of Americas. Friday is in Lower Manhattan, like Wall Street area. Saturday is in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, over on Kent Avenue. And on Sunday is at Prospect Park, right? The food is amazing. So get your coins together and go get you some food, okay? Food and drink is all good. Smorgasbord, look it up. Going to the comments over here. Donna Lee, the parting is stressing me out. I was going to cut it off. You're not saying anything. Don't stress yourself, girl. Stop it. So now the floor is open for any additional Q&A. Ask your questions now. Asking ye shall receive. Q&A, any additional questions that you may not have asked. Of course, I can't answer it using the demonstration, but I can answer as many questions as possible. So if you have additional questions, please post them here. Question for you, Lisa. When would you like for me to give you a touch-up for your twist? Let me know. Okay? And yeah. So while I wait to see if anybody else has any questions, I do want to make known, and you can share this with any friends who has children that are returning to school. I do have a back to school special that I'm trying this year. It is from August 20th to September 20th for younger clients, because I don't generally take children because parents like to leave their kids, and I'm not a babysitter because that's why I don't do it. And you could tell me until you blew in the face, oh, I'm not going to do that. And they wound up doing it anyway because I live near, very close to a mall and a lot of restaurants. And then parents get tied up over there and hours would pass before they come back for their kids. And I'm not having that. My kids are all grown up and no. So, but this year I said I'm going to try this out. However, it's going to be a requirement that if you do have your child here getting their hair braided, I'm going to do crochet braids or natural braids and twists for your child's hair, protective styles for back to school that they can keep in their hair as they settle into the new school year. So again, this back to school special is a flat rate for students only. Okay, the service has been posted on my website, And yeah, so August 20th till September 20th for back to school. This does not include lock service. This is only for natural hair care students whose parents need their kids to get their hair done. Okay, because my lock clients are 13 and older. I do not have small children as lock clients. So this service is only for children whose hair is loose and out and not locked. This is for natural braids without extensions. I do not do extension braids. Go to your braid shop for that. I'm not a braider. I can braid, but I don't have the capacity to be standing for hours braiding hair, which is why it's not on my services. Okay, the styles that I am referring to are done in 3 hours or less. Okay, um, but yes, it is posted on my website, which will be in my description section when I'm done editing this video later tonight. So Donna Lee says, "Oh, I was going to say, are you no longer taking clients on the weekends?" Yes, I do take clients on the weekends. However, my weekends go very quickly. Very quickly. When I say, oh, this month is open now, the weekends go pretty quick. I do take clients on the weekends. My hours is 10 to 6 daily. If it's not on the calendar, it's either booked or I took myself off the calendar to give myself day off. And I always do that well in advance. Second, I'm going on vacation in October. I like to let my regulars know well in advance. So I will be on vacation from the 23rd of October to the 28th of October. So if you need to get your hair done, make your appointment ASAP prior to or right after I come back, but not during. Okay? But the back to school special is available to students from August 20th, 2023 until September 20th, 2023, and then the service will be removed from my website until next year. Because August, for me, fills up very quickly, and a lot of times people are making their appointments last minute because they're so busy doing other things, wrapping up with summer activities and vacations and things of such. And then they'd be like, oh, shoot, I forgot to make an appointment for Tiffany. And I'm like, yeah, you better make your appointments. So once the calendar is full or that period of time comes to a close, whichever happens first, that's when it will be removed from my website. Outside of that, if there are no additional questions, I hope tonight's Locs Talk Live was interesting. With the show and tell and the demonstration videos, please comment in the comment section if you liked the demonstrations that was provided to give you a better understanding of a lot of, because sometimes it's difficult for me to answer some questions using layman's terms because yeah, when you get used to using certain hair terminology, it's hard. It's funny when people ask me about faux locks, they still say fox locks, and then fox is FAUX, but the proper pronunciation is faux. It's a French word, and its origins means false or fake. So yeah, the proper pronunciation is faux, FOH, faux. Oh. I think that is it. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for Locs Talk Live tonight. I love you. Again, I am streaming live with using Streamyard software. If you go live or record videos here on YouTube, you might want to try it out. I did provide the link in the description below if you want to try it out for yourself. In regards to using this software, I think it's great. I'm definitely going to move forward with using my annual to creating an annual membership so that I can upgrade and add little things in here that's connected to my brand because I'm trying to build that even more, right? I'm not trying to be this huge though because popularity is not that. Yeah, I've seen what it does to people. I really just want people to be educated and cared for in their hair journey, and that's what I provide. So, thank you again for joining me for Locs Talk Live. I'm not going to be doing Locs Talk Live after chat this evening. I've been pretty tired these last couple of days, so I've been trying to preserve my energy. And I will see y'all next week. I have not decided what I'm going to talk about yet. This one I decided almost at the last minute, so I spent most of today preparing today's presentation. So I hope that y'all enjoyed the presentation with the videos. Share with your people so that they know. And if you know people who has younger kids, even teenagers, or college students that get ready to go back to school and you need to get your hair done and not worry about it for a couple of months while you get settled in, hit a girl up. Okay? Peace and blessings. Bye.